Welcome back, this is Strat, and this is episode 3 of my Zombies weapon ranking. In these videos, I will continue to judge weapon effectiveness based on multiple factors to help determine their scores. Since these weapons are being graded on their individual performances, I will only allow the use of my knife and grenades to assist them, otherwise everything will be dealt with on their own. With that out of the way, we can now cover our third World of War weapon, the Gewehr 3. The Gewehr, or Gewehr as it's more commonly referred to, is a starting room wall buy in 3 of the 4 World of War maps. Unlike the Kar 98, the Gewehr is not immediately available upon spawning in, but most will attest that the extra cost is worth it. However, we don't deal with hearsay on this channel, so let's get right into the stats. The Gewehr 43 is a semi-automatic marksman rifle with a pretty decent mag size and good hipfire. It has a base damage of 90 per shot, and even though the websites want you to think it has a range, after some playtesting I can say that 90 is correct for most if not all situations. Like all other bullet weapons in this game, it has body multipliers, but these values are a little bit different than you're used to seeing. The weird multipliers and base damage of this weapon result in some strange numbers when it comes to damage output. For example, a headshot with this gun deals 243 damage, which is just 7 below what a round 2 zombie would have. When a zombie is this close to death after experiencing a headshot, they will go headless, which can cause quite a few issues. The first and most important is that, well, they're not dead. The second is that even though this zombie is on borrowed time, just like the reverse flash, he'll make your life a living hell. The headless zombies in World of War must also have some unfinished business, as they take forever to die. You can use this to your advantage to get an extra 40 or 50 points before knifing them and putting them out of their misery. Even with its strange damage, the Gewehr does have decent DPS and will do pretty well for you in the early rounds. The only real issue with this gun, even on early rounds, is its lackluster reload speed. This is made worse by the fact that you can't reload cancel with sprinting in this game like you can in later titles. With normal zombies, this is manageable, but if you don't have Jug and you're caught in a reload by these frickers, you're dead. However, a lot of times you'll already have a perk at this point, or you'll have the catwalk open, which kind of trivializes things. That's about all there is to say about the Gewehr. It does the job you'd expect a 600 point wall gun to do, nothing more, nothing less. When you pack-a-punch the Gewehr, it loses its German roots and turns into the G115 compressor with 110 extra damage. With the extra damage also comes increased multipliers, and these make the weapon quite the killer if you're accurate enough. The reload is still the same, unfortunately, but at this point you'll have speed cola to help offset that. The headshot multiplier alone will carry you into the late 20s no matter how you play, but it suffers from the same issue as its unpacked version. Alright, I think you get the point. The dogs lack the body multiplier spots to allow the weapon to kill them effectively. This is especially an issue once they start spawning mid-round, as you'll have to sometimes dump an entire mag just to put one down. If they catch you in a bad spot while training, or heaven forbid they trap you, you better hope you can hit headshots or else you're done for. If you think about it, dogs and Doris are the great balancing factor that keeps some weapons from being overpowered. This can be done by forcing ammo loss and strong but limited use weapons, or by forcing a loss of focus with weaker but faster weapons. Other than fighting hounds, I'll say the G115 is a solid, well-rounded gun for all situations. Now I think it's time to see how well the Gewehr is going to hold up in the ranking. As always, the first category is peak performance, or the weapon's last useful round. The Gewehr's peak performance is going to be rated differently from guns like the C3000 and Kar 98, as it's not meant to one-shot for a long period of time. The Gewehr is designed for quick and repetitive shots to the head to take down a target. As so, it will be ranked based on its efficiency to do so with its mag size. The base Gewehr only has a 10-round magazine, so we need to take into account the margin of error for missing shots. I would say that any more than 3 headshots is too difficult for most players, as well as it's very taxing on the magazine. And because of that, the last round that the Gewehr 3-shot kills to the head is round 8, and so that will be our peak performance. The G115 compressor only gets 2 additional shots in the magazine, but the main problem is how much the ammo costs. The normal Gewehr has an ammo cost of only 300, which allows for reckless shooting for a low price. Everyone knows that once a gun is packed, the ammo cost is 4,500, which does not allow for the same liberal usage. Every bullet counts, as upgraded wall weapons are required to both make back their money as well as more money if you want to hit the box or pack a bunch another weapon. For these reasons, I still believe the G115 needs to kill in about 3 shots or it'll run out of ammo before you can get enough points back. This makes even more sense when you throw the dogs back into the mix, considering they sometimes again take an entire magazine of ammo to take down one. The last round the G115 takes 3 headshots to kill is round 29, meaning 29 points. This takes us into our next category, which is ease of use, or how easy it is to use the weapon effectively. Both the Gewehr and the G115 do require headshots to be useful, but I wouldn't say it requires a lot of skill. Before you begin to reach the peaks for either weapon, they can be used to decent effect with a player of any skill. A torso or missed shot likely won't spell your demise early on, but the risk increases as the zombie's health increases. Both guns also have okay mobility, making training a viable and actually encouraged strategy for them. With that information, I think a score of 5 out of 10 is warranted here. It's not as easy to use as an automatic weapon, but it's also not as hard to use as something like the Kar 98. Our next category is where we compare wall weapons of similar point values to see how they stack up against each other. For the first time ever, we finally have a fight, as both the M1 carbine and the Gewehr share the same point value of 600. But before anyone gets too excited, know that this isn't really much of a fight and is instead a massacre in the M1 carbine's favor. The M1 is essentially better than the Gewehr in every possible way. It has more damage, it has a better mag size, it has a better reload time, and even has better body multipliers. The only benefits to taking the Gewehr over the M1 is that it's in the starting room unlike the M1, and it also has a slightly faster fire rate. However, since the M1 is only one room over and also is way more consistent, it's still just a much better pick overall. With that, the Gewehr is going to take a 2 out of 10, being only saved by its increased fire rate and position on the map. Now, the last category is based on the weapon's ability to save you when trapped by one or multiple zombies. When you end up trapped with either the Gewehr or the G115, it's not a big ask to take out one zombie. It is once you add 2 or more zombies to the equation that this gun's weakness of having to hit headshots starts to show. These zombies will both mess with your collision as well as push you around, making it very hard to stay accurate. With all of that and the pressure, you'll be lucky to not miss half your magazine. So the reality is that it can save you, just not very well, so I'll give it a 4 out of 10 in this category. With that all added up, that leaves the Gewehr with a score of 48 points with no point deductions. The Gewehr 43 earns its pay, and the G115 is a deadly weapon in the right hands. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Strat, and I will see you in my next Zombies weapon ranking. Ciao!